Hey everybody, it's Eddie J on Crypto for GrowMyBag.tv. Hope you're having a good one. What's good, what's good, what's good? So I am traveling today. I got big meeting. I had a big meeting tonight, have another big meeting early tomorrow morning, and I'll be back in my studio tomorrow. Now, let's get to tonight's question. Tonight's poll question. Can Microsoft break Bitcoin now? Yes, no, what happened? And other. If it's other, you know you got to hit me in the comments. Whew. I can't tell you how much news there is, and it's insane. It is insane. Bitcoin becomes a lifeline for struggling companies. A lot of struggling companies are turning to Bitcoin to add it to their balance sheets so that people find them to be more attractive. I wonder how many crap companies are going to be out there saying, "Yeah, we're gonna do that." Like seriously, seriously. So yeah, it has become a lifeline for a lot of companies, right? Sometimes these companies can get into Bitcoin, get themselves a little lifeline, and then resume as usual. Other ones, little lifeline, enough time to sell, and keep it moving. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how that actually plays out. But I believe I told you guys yesterday that there are 1,573 different companies out there, publicly traded, that are holding on to Bitcoin or Bitcoin ETFs. That's not a small deal. That's a very big deal. A very big deal. You know, I'm seeing some votes. Michael McCaskill, what's good? There you go. Because I was beginning to wonder, is anybody on? I don't know. I was about to start crying. Then we've got, let me just make this window a little bit smaller so I can see the comments while I give you guys the news. Then we've got Chainlink. Chainlink flipped Stellar and Sui. My question is, what's going on, Turtle Bitcoin? Hey, AC Power. Did Chainlink flip them, or did they just fall? Because I recall seeing Stellar yesterday. I remember saying it last night. It was around 18 and change because it was below 20. And I'm like, oh, I can get in on that. And then I looked today and it's still 18 and change. And I think it's more that the other two fell, not that Chainlink rose. So I'm going to be paying attention to that. The top 25 coins out there, I have to tell you, the top 25 coins out there give you a lot to think about. They give you a lot to think. I don't think there's anything outside of the top 25 coins that, you can't do anyplace else. I'm looking for my phone. See, there it is. Gotta look at your phone in case somebody, in case one of your kids tries to contact you. But, that's not one of my kids, so I don't care. What else is up? Yeah, I'm thinking they fell, Turtle Bitcoin. I really do think they fell. It's not a matter of Chainlink is going to do well. Let's not play. But it didn't move. It didn't move. That was the key. So I'm kind of like, huh. Then you've got a battle going on between Aptos and this other platform called Monad. And one of the people from Aptos was like, you stole our tech without giving us, proper accolades. And I'm sitting back and I'm like, that's pretty not cool. If you're using somebody's technology, you should say, oh yeah, we're using blah, blah, blah. Because sometimes it's not about being paid. It's about, getting the credit. So, I think I don't even know what Monad is. So that ought to tell you something. So I don't know if this article is more about trying to get Monad some name recognition, because, even bad stuff is good. Let me make sure the logo isn't showing because they don't pay me. Yo, Hutanic in the house. Do they serve continental breakfast at Motel 6? I couldn't afford Motel 6. So, this is all, I'm just sitting on a set right now. Ha ha ha. What else is there? Tether engages in United States Congress, and they're hoping to get Lutnick's help. Lutnick has, some connections, some ties to Tether, and they're hoping that he'll reach out. Now, this is not a new story. This is an old story. I mean, them going in front of Congress is kind of new, but them dealing with Lutnick is not new. So when Lutnick got the tap, Tether was like, maybe there's some hope. So we'll see what happens. Um, Something else that's going on around that same vein is you have Binance that released a report saying, listen, we help law enforcement around the world recover like $4.5 billion. So their message is, some of these governments are out there talking about, we have compliance issues or whatever. And I think it was mostly a response to that whole Nigeria, we want $8.1 billion. Like, what? Go kick many of a rock with open toe shoes. So, hey, Paula. So I'm just wondering if that report was released in time to kind of respond to Nigeria, to like tell Nigeria, F off. Let's see. And you did your research. There you go. Hutanic, AC Power, Turtle, Bitcoin. Michael McCaskill, did you do your research today? You think I don't know if Microsoft stock is going to climb. I don't know. And the reason why I don't know is because saying you have a chip, and like Willow, like Google, and is that chip actually quantum, right? Quantum level. And what can that chip do? So I don't know. I do not know. I know, Michael. I was only playing with you. I know you always do your research. But so when I think about Microsoft stock, will it get a little bit of a bump? Maybe. Did Google's got a little bit of a bump? Not much, did it? Nope. And for those of you that are asking what happened, Microsoft released a new chip, or says they have a new chip, and they say it's quantum capable. And I'm sitting back and I'm kind of going, is it really though? Is it really? Or are you just slapping the name on quantum? And I think it's more the latter than anything else. That's pretty much what I'm thinking. Pi Network named the most valuable airdrop since Uniswap. Uniswap held that title before, and then Pi Network came along and they did it. But there was another piece of news about Pi Network. Bybit CEO calls Pi Network a China scam. That's cool. Let me read it to you. Bybit CEO Ben Zhao claims Pi Network is a scam targeting Chinese users, sparking a debate over its legitimacy. Not that China is targeting others, but that others are targeting China is what he's saying. China users. And I'm sitting back and I'm going, wow, those are mighty big allegations. So that whole thing around Pi Network, yeah, I was never interested in Pi Network. It just, sometimes I get a bad feeling when I'm doing my research. I get a bad feeling about the news that I'm feeling, the news that I'm reading. I just get a gut check, and it's kind of like, yeah, don't do that. Don't do that. Can regular companies make news like that without a project or service in its, where are you from, dude? They've been doing that for years. Of course they can. Of course they can. Look what we did, and then look what it can do. That's how the news drops. It happens every day. Good question though. Good question, but every day. every day. You even have companies that go out there and sell vapor, what we call vaporware. They have the plans for it. They believe the plans will work. And then they get enough, orders, and then they take it to, production. And you're waiting for the vaporware because you bought into something that wasn't actually there. They said it, well, we're this close, so we started selling it and blah, 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 blah. Oh, there are delivery problems and we need a little bit more time. Yeah. Cisco did it with fiber cards back in the day. So when you run a fiber network, it has to go into a card. Well, that card wasn't ready. It happens all the time, right? Does it sound like it would be a setup for a bull trap? No, not really, because it's common. It's commonplace. You know what I mean? It's commonplace. It would be a bull trap if they're full of crap, which unfortunately is also commonplace. That's why I said, is it real quantum? Because I don't believe that they have real quantum. I think they have something really slick, but I don't know that they should be calling it a quantum chip in the sense of the term that everybody thinks it is. It's sort of like AI. People were talking about, oh, we had AI before. We had AI before. We have not had AI before. Artificial intelligence. That's now is as close as we've come to what is real AI. What I've been working with for years, everybody's calling AI, but people working with it knew that's not really AI. There's an algorithm that's saying the chances of the next word the chances that this is going to be the next word versus that's going to be the next word. That's how that works. So yeah, nah, good try. Exactly. Hutanic, you hit it right on the head. It's not a problem. It's not a problem until it is. The stock pumps hard, dumps hard. Yeah, it's not going to do that. It's not going to do that. It'll get a little pop. That's it. That's why it's so commonplace. Well, it's so commonplace that that's what happens. It's not going to be a big shebang kind of deal. So yeah, no, I'm not worried about it. I'm not worried about it at all. You might want to play the pop maybe, or is it too late for the pop? Because the next news drop will be, all of the, metrics that they start dropping for the chip. Oh, the chip did this. Oh, the chip did that. And the chip is so cute. Look what the chip did this time. Yeah, no. Like a bunch of grandparents talking about the grandbabies. Australian regulator warns of horror scenarios from the new regime's crypto policies. And I'm sitting back and I'm just kind of going, I can't shrug that one off. I can't just go, you're full of, you can't really do that. I want you to look at everything that's going on in the United States with regard to the rules around banking. Not necessarily the rules around banking, but the governance around banking. The CFPB has pretty much been gutted. The Consumer Financial Protection Bureau pretty much been gutted. You just have a lot of shackles coming off where we could wind up with, just bad banking practices could be born from this. And we all know what happened the last time that we had bad banking practices, right? Yeah. So I'm sitting back and I'm just kind of going, at least now we have crypto. At least now we have crypto. Because I'm sitting back and I'm just kind of going, well, if your bank goes, excuse my language, if your bank goes titties up, well, that's on you, son. And it would be a whole bunch of banks. Because I think they're all going to dive in with bad banking practices. I don't trust any of the banks. I really don't. And I think it'll be mostly the traditional banks, the banks that are really making their money off of, retail loans, mortgages, car loans. I think those are going to be the ones. You're going to start to see, oh, it's so easy to get a loan now. Just sell your left thigh. And people will do it. People will do it. And then they can't afford the mortgage and they default on the mortgage. And Now they're in debt, and I could see it happening all over again. That it's starting to look like that again, and that's what's sad. You know, the SEC would have to take a look. I don't think so. I think the SEC is being changed. You have several different agencies, excuse me, that kind of dip into banks, right? The OCC, the SEC, the CFTC, the FDIC, the CFPB, and there are even people thinking that the FDIC could get hurt. That's the insurance, and I'm sitting back and I'm going, I don't know what is going to happen, but there are a lot of possibilities, and you could say the chances of this happening versus that happening, but there's a high percentage of each of any one of those things happening. If I was running risk management software right now, I'd be going bonkers reading the reports because everything's feasible. It's not like you're talking about some far out thing like there's a 1 in 31 chance that some meteor could hit the planet. There actually is a meteor, and the chances are like 1 in 31 or 1 in 36 that it could hit the planet, hit Earth. Seriously, go look it up. But yeah, I start to think about that and I'm like, wow, that's pretty fucking interesting. Excuse my language. Sorry about that, Mom. Then you have, when I think about that Australian regulator saying, hey, look, listen, the policies are so inconsistent. Some policies are contradictory. You start to think, wow, this strap on because it's going to be a wild ride. And the only thing I can think of is, well, I don't want to leave my money in a bank. I don't want to see my money in a bank. 100 million Dogecoin transferred into Binance, and I don't know if it's going to skim the atmosphere. It could, it might, perhaps, but Apophis might actually hit. There is a 1 in 31 or 36 chance. It's not as small as what the other ones are. There's 1 in a million chance. No, this is 1 in 31, 1 in 36. Just saying, that's not a small deal. That's a big deal. Even skimming the earth is a big deal. Just saying. What else do we have? That 100 million Dogecoin transferring to Binance. It did make Doge blip down a little bit. Came right back to where it was. So it wasn't that big of a deal, but it did make eyes open because that hasn't happened in a long time. It's like a little over almost $25 million. That doesn't always happen. Right? Ethereum Petra upgrade is poised to boost the staking ecosystem. They need it. So that's going to be good. They've been doing a lot of things, and this is why I would never write off Ethereum. Look at what Cardano did. Look at what Ethereum is doing. They are literally taking steps at the infrastructure level to make foundation level changes. And speaking of Cardano, everything was ratified, right? Yeah, baby. Yeah, baby. Cardano ratifies blockchain constitution pushing full decentralization. The Cardano community members ratify a governance framework aimed at ensuring full decentralization and the sustainable network growth. That's not small. That right there is huge. That's what I'm saying. I look at some of these coins that people have written off, and then I look at the history of those coins, and I'm just like, yeah, we're talking about really big things. Ethereum is already, a part of the connective tissue. Cardano right now is probably perfect to become connective tissue. There's already more building happening. There's already more interest in in that blockchain. There's a lot going on. I think quickly, especially because of decentralization, because of speed, because of security, because of so many damn things, you're just going to sit there and go, wow, Cardano's got a lot going on. And before you know it, they'll be a part of the connective tissue. Because right now they're not. I just believe in Cardano. And that constitutional ratification is one of the reasons why I believe in crypto. Chicano was good. So I think about that. Is SHIB going to do a burn soon? I have a big bag. I'm telling you right now, my SHIB is on set it and forget it mode. Every now and then I add a little, and every now and then I add a little. Does that answer your question? I think Shiba Inu they constantly burn. They're constant new burn numbers like all the time, every day, just about every day. My faith is not necessarily just in the burn. My faith is really in the usage. I think that's where it's going. I think that's really where it's going. For everybody, tonight's question, can Microsoft break Bitcoin with its new chip? And the answers are yes, no, what happened, and other. If you say other, drop it down in the comments. I want to know. So far, we only have 10 votes. Wow. I thought it was a good question. Anyway, let's see what else we have. Bear with me. Got to that one. Michael Saylor details his $2 billion Bitcoin loan strategy. It comes good in 2030. So it's a long way off. Gives him time to breathe. What's supposed to happen in 2030? Everybody's expecting Bitcoin to be at $1 million. So he's looking at this note as ha 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 ha. I mean, what's 1 million times 100,000? Damn. Tell him, damn. It's a lot of money. No, I didn't say anything about the chip in the poll because it's up to you to do your research. So, can Microsoft break Bitcoin now? Yes, no, what happened? I gave you an opportunity to ask the question and other. And if you put it in the comments, what you think your answer is, I will block you. No cheating. No cheating. I really want you to stop and think about this. Don't give a flippant response. I want you to stop and think about it. That's for everybody. I'm talking to everybody right now. I want you to stop and think about it first. Think a little bit longer down the road. And then you'll start to understand why people like Vitalik Buterin are like, yeah, we are working on, Vitalik Buterin, Charles Hoskinson. A lot of these people are talking about how to guard against or gird up against quantum computing. How far away it is, how close it is. That's why I asked the question. That's why I asked it like that. Some people don't keep up with it. That's why there's a what happened. Let's see. This one's good. The SEC announces a new crypto fraud unit. The US SEC introduces a specialized unit focused on combating crypto fraud, signaling stricter enforcement and increased regulatory scrutiny, but specifically for fraud. They jettisoned the other team and created this new team, and it's specifically aimed at fraud. And I'm sitting back and I'm going, that's a big difference between what they used to do. Yes, this unit is about enforcement. It is definitely about enforcement. Pardon me as I plug in my computer, because that's something I didn't do, because I'm smart. Don't mind me. So imagine what this new team is going to do with all that. That's not a small deal. That's a very big deal. There you go. Now, there you go. So I'm sitting back, I'm kind of going, I actually like the idea that about that group, because the group was formed after Hester Pierce's group was formed. And remember, Hester Pierce's group is going to set the tone for what's going on in the crypto space, crypto and emerging technology space. And then this group will step in and be like, where's the fraud coming in? Where's the fraud? Where's the fraud? Actually looking for crime and not trying to make up crime. Because I don't think people really understand this, what that is. I mean, you receive a Wells notice, they're trying to find a reason to bring you to court. I'm just saying. I don't know what you mean, Rick Ritchie. Algorand Falcon is what Hosky is looking at adopting. Good for him. I don't know. I don't know that that's the answer. But the fact that everybody's thinking about it is what catches my attention. Because quantum computing can hurt a lot of industries, not just crypto. But I hear everybody in crypto talking about it. I don't hear a lot of the other industries talking about it. See what I mean? That's where I'm going with that. Right? Like, how are banks going to deal with quantum computing when it comes on the good side and the bad side? On the good side, using it to actually offer good products, yada, yada, yada. On the bad side, to guard against it with their security postures. Like 2FA or two-factor authentication is not going to be enough. Remember that conversation about Yubi with between myself and Hutanik? Yubi's just one of them. There's a lot more that needs to happen. Like, I don't think Yubi could actually handle a quantum attack. I really don't. Shib's tech. No, I don't think so. I don't think anybody has. I think they're all trying. But it's sort of like the millennium bug. You won't know until you know. See what I mean? So I'm just sitting back waiting. Just waiting. I don't know about that, Hutanik. I'm in that space. I don't know. They're different things. I don't know about that. Web3 is not necessarily the answer for what they're doing. It's a complement. It's a complement. It's not necessarily a replacement. Web4 might be a replacement. I'm pretty sure it will be. But just saying. I mean, Block, who is it? Jack Dorsey is already thinking about Web5. Like, he totally skipped over Web4. He was talking about Web5. And people thought he was crazy. But then you go back to the news that I just gave you the other day where, yeah, he's a cypherpunk. And you sit there and you kind of go, oh, snap, didn't know that. Yeah, a lot of people didn't know that. Now you know why, for him, talking about Web5, it's not insane. It's not insane. Okay, then Hutanik, why hasn't it already? It hasn't. It hasn't. Think about that. Think about what you just typed and think about what's actually happening. It hasn't happened. And it hasn't happened because AI is not AI, not quite AI just yet. It's sophisticated, algorithms. That's it. It's not there yet. Will it be there? Probably. But I can point it against anything and have given enough time, figure it out. Different way of thinking. And computing, think about it like this. It's akin to how the people over at DeepSeek used NVIDIA chips, but didn't use NVIDIA chips the way, using CUDA, which is NVIDIA's language. They found another way to do it, which made the chips more optimal or optimized the chips for AI computing. And that's why the cost was brought down so much, because they're more power efficient or energy efficient, and they can do more. Not quite there yet, but almost. So we'll see. What else do we have? We've got Microsoft's computing chip. We've got Bybit CEO calling Pi Network a China scam. I'm like, I'm still tripping off of that. I'm still tripping off of that one. Um, then you've got the ECB, the European Central Bank, investigating integrating blockchain technologies into its settlement infrastructure to enhance efficiency and transparency. And I'm sitting back and I'm going, welcome to the new world, people. Welcome to the new world. How much were they fighting blockchain? How much would, because notice how they, remember I told you a long time ago, I told you they're going to start using the term blockchain instead of crypto. They don't want to use the term crypto. This is like, oh, we're just using blockchain. We're not doing crypto. Trying to separate. And I'm like, no, something's traveling over that network. That's the crypto. You call it whatever you want. That's what it is. Period. Not going to change the terminology. You're just running away from facts. And the European Union thinking about, European Central Bank thinking about doing that, I sit back and I get my giggle on. I literally get my giggle on. Um, Quantum computing isn't here yet, Rick Ritchie. It's not here yet. Everybody, a lot of companies have been talking about, we've got it, we've got it. They don't have it. It's not here yet. What they're calling quantum computing is not the true definition. That's the marketing definition of quantum computing, not the actual definition of quantum computing. It's not here. You'd have to test Willow. You'd have to test Microsoft chip. Willow is Google's chip. You'd have to test both of them to see if they're actually there. And if you noticed, it's been really quiet around Willow, hasn't it? It's been really quiet around the quantum computers that Honeywell is selling, right? Currently they're saying in terms of reality, we're still like 5 years away from quantum computers, true quantum computers, and 10 years away from actual software that properly leverages that quantum computing. Well, excuse me, public level computers. Better believe the wealthy will have it long before we will. So there are differences. Franklin Templeton Bitcoin and Ethereum ETFs begin trading in the US. That was pretty interesting. I was like, yeah, okay, that's nice. Great news about banks. Hackers drain bank accounts in global attack on Apple and Android devices. Yay. Oh boy. I tell people all the time that don't download things that you don't need to have, or have your crypto on a device that where you're not doing anything else. Right? Don't have it do anything. It's on a different device, because they're trying to get into your device in a major fashion, major fashion, right? And they're draining bank accounts, and here's my kicker: it's the fact that the security posture at some of these banks is not good enough. No human intervention. I know that's you. A suspicious, I guess, remittance from your account. How is that drain able to happen, and how come you can't claw it back? Because if you make a debit card purchase, they'll tell you, oh, we can't claw that back. You have like 10 minutes, a window of 10 minutes for us to be able to do that. We can't do that with a debit card. And I'm sitting there and I'm going, really? Yeah, I don't think so. We use the same network as credit cards. Stop it. I really think we will see robots walking around in 2030 like it's no big deal. Like iRobot. Remember when they all, went bad? Remember that? You, they're already saying we're not that far away. We're only a couple of years away from robots that can do everything, that can literally be your assistant. Not that far away. Not that far away at all. And what does that do to the world? You need something to power that robot. So energy through the roof. The heat from all that energy through the roof. Everybody will be walking around in their underwear. It'll be so damn hot. It's not going to be the same. So there's a lot going on that could drive us in the wrong direction. There's a lot that could drive us in the right direction, but there's a lot that could drive us in the wrong direction. People who are thinking that it's nuts that all these, rich and wealthy are thinking about trying to get to Mars. And I'm sitting back and I'm saying to myself, not so crazy. Not so crazy. Get to Mars now, colonize Mars now. By the time their grandchildren or great grandchildren are here, they'll be living on Mars. You have people, I forgot which one it was from the All In podcast, but one of them is, an engineer, and his company is working on being able to grow potatoes. Actually, let me rephrase. They can grow more potatoes with less water with the technology that they have now. And they're trying to do that with a lot of different foods. Why is that? You ever watch that movie with Matt Damon? He was actually stuck on Mars. What was he growing? Potatoes. Potatoes. Just saying, there's a lot of stuff out there that when you start to pull all the points and you start to put it all together, you start to get that really clear 3D image. You really, really do. Just saying. We need to get at least drop some hard drives. And we'll see about that whole Mars drop. Again, people think it's crazy, but there really are people, even SpaceX, there are a lot of people out there really trying to drive toward, like seriously trying to drive toward getting to Mars. And I'm sitting here and I'm saying to myself, I can see why that's important to them. Not important to me. I'm not going to be here, but it's important to them. Because they figure the rich folk will leave first. The wealthy will leave first and leave the rest of us here. Eventually, mankind is going to have to go out into space. How do you do that? You need better computers, stronger computers to get there. Stronger computers, better technology to help you build the right ships for longer excursions into space. This is not craziness. These are facts. These are actually facts. So I'm sitting here and I'm just saying to myself, well, we can make money from these things and start to move ourselves into that wealthy space by practicing the GMB3. Do your own research, know your entries and exits, and absolutely invest deliberately. Again, I had a conversation with somebody today and they were like, I don't make a lot of money. I was like, no, you don't make a lot of money. I get it. How much money do you make? Actually, don't even tell me how much money you make. Tell me how much money you waste. And they're like, waste? I was like, you smoke cigarettes. They just looked at me like, oh, damn. Yeah. How many packs a day do you smoke? Ham's house, what's good? You start to realize that money that you're wasting can be invested. Back in the day, it didn't mean anything. But now today, you really can invest with $5 here, $10 there. You really, really can. Get healthier, stop smoking, take that smoking budget and put it into investments. You'd be surprised. You'd be like, oh, it's not a lot of money. It's not a lot of money. And then you look up one day and you got a few $1,000s, and you look up a few more days and you go, holy moly, I got a couple of tens of thousands of dollars. Takes time, but you're capable of changing your life if you make small changes now. It's not necessarily about how much money you make, it's about how much money you waste. Right? Back in the day, my lesson was somebody taught me it's not about how much money you make, it's about how much money you keep. I'm focused on how much money I waste. Because if I can recognize it as a waste, it will be easier for me to alter that particular way of life. If I smoke, okay, let me stop smoking. I'll get healthier. And I can take that money and I can put it to good use. Imagine how much cigarettes cost now. Smoking 1-2 packs a day. That's a lot of money. Buying lunch at work. I was with my friend the other day and they spent $17 on lunch. I'm not saying they shouldn't have lunch, but I'm saying for a lot of people, $17 for lunch, that might be maybe once a quarter. Maybe for some of those that are lucky, it's once a month. Right? Ham's house. Isn't quantum computing just being able to compute with integers between zeros and ones? Yeah, it's different. It's a different kind of thing. Yeah, there's a lot more. I couldn't explain it to you because I don't understand it as well. Quantum computing is not the same as the kind of computing we're doing now. And it is qubits. There's a lot of research that you'd have to do to understand it. Jevy and Parker, what's good? That's actually how I got into crypto 4 years ago. I haven't had a drink of alcohol since January 2021. Kudos to you. Kudos to you. Sometimes it's, I'm not going to eat out this week. How much money was that? Sometimes it's, I'm going to stop smoking. How much was that? I'm going to stop paying for monthly payments for things that I don't use that much. You start to break it down and you start to realize I'm not using that service, or I'm not reading that newspaper. I'm just not doing that. I'm going to cut that out, and I'm going to take that money and I'm going to put it over here. A little bit at a time. It's sort of like this channel. 3 years ago this month actually, or last month. No, this month I think. So 3 years ago we started this. I started this channel. I had 0 in the community, 0, and I just started doing my videos, just doing my thing. I was doing it for the kids, so I just do my thing. 3 years later, and we've got a decent sized community at almost 11.6 thousand, and growing. Right. We're building out the whole social media platform dedicated to this space. There's enough here that tells me keep going. It's just like that. Back in the day when I was a kid, there was no way in the world that you could take $5 and invest it. You could take $5 and save it. That's what they taught us, right? Take your $5, kid, and put it in the bank, and they'll pay you interest. That was the big story. If you wanted to invest, you had to be worth tens of thousands of dollars, and you had to be willing to lose that kind of money to be able to invest. Now, investing is right there on your cell phone. It's right there on any computer. Go to the library and get free internet access. It's right there. Everybody can invest. Do your own research, know your entries and exits, and absolutely invest deliberately. The GMB 3. That's it. Ham's house. That's it. So you've got to do things that, you might equate to, austerity, where you're making serious cuts that you think are going to alter the trajectory of your life or alter your lifestyle, how long do you have to do it? What's the payoff at the end? If I sacrifice 3 years, what will I get in 3 years? If somebody would have told me I'd be making all these friends, 11,600 of them. I'd be making all these friends and be a part of a growing community talking about investment. That was not the dream 3 years ago. The dream 3 years ago was I'm gonna start shooting videos so that, my kids will have my brain and they can access it whenever they want. That was the idea. Still the primary idea. I just get to reach more people now. It's kind of cool. Really is kind of cool. But everybody, I've got to get up early tomorrow because I'm probably going to do another live. I'm going to try to do it at about 6:30. I'm trying to do the morning show as a live. It's not easy. It's not easy, but I think it simplifies the process, that kind of thing. So I'm going to try that out for a little while. But there'll be a morning show. It'll be from here, and then I have my meeting, and then by tomorrow night for Friday Flips, I'll be back at home and in my little studio, and we'll have a regular show. Anyway, everybody, this is Eddie J on crypto for growmybag.tv. If you like what I'm doing, do me a favor, hit the like button. Tell your friends and family about this community and why we're so different than any other channel that's out there. And if you want to become a member of the community, go to growmybag.tv/sign-up and become a bagger or big bagger. Help us grow this community. Let's get good. Hold it. My dollar cost average around $75 into 4 different accounts for me per week, if not bi-weekly. That's what's up. That's what's up. Do the math. How many pack of cigarettes is that? You know what I mean? That's hat tip to you, man. Hat tip to you. That's awesome. We're going to close out with that. Javion Parker. That is what's up. The votes came in. Can Microsoft break Bitcoin now? 85% said no. 8% said yes. 8% said what happened. 0 said other. That's pretty cool. That is pretty cool. Everybody, thank you for your time. Thank you for your patience. And most of all, thank you for your trust. I greatly appreciate you. Everybody, have a great night. Thanks. Bye-bye.